What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Sheehan Show here on Sherdog.com. My name is Sean Sheehan, and I'm back with another edition of the betting show. We're going to have two betting shows this week. First of all is this one, where I look ahead to the full year. I have 5 bets for you today, and all 5 bets are plus money bets for the year. So we have some big title fights coming up, just some big fights that have been announced. I decided to go with all fights that have been announced because I did this last year, and I actually looked back at it there a couple of weeks ago. I've forgotten exactly every bet now, but some of them were like John Jones and Ngannou and like McGregor versus Ferguson. Like, is there really any point in them? Like, they're not going to happen. So we can actually have these, put them as part of the rotation for the year, and we will put them as part of the record as well for the year. Before I get into that though, just a quick recap of last year and just a couple of things that are maybe going to change this year and that we've learned from last year to come in to this year. So overall last year we went 50%. That's what I wanted to do. We went 90 of 180. We said that last one didn't really count. I think I went 50-50 on it anyway, so it's all good. But 180 bets, 90 right, and then 13 overall on the flyers. Now, I remember I said at the time, if I could hit one every month, every 6 weeks, maybe I'd be happy with the flyers. So I achieved that, and I said I'd be happy with 50% on the bets, and I achieved that as well. So I'm happy enough with last year. Now this year, I'm going to do the exact same thing there, but I'm going to make it easier to kind of recap everything. So I've kind of just listed everything, and I've kind of listed the wins in 2023. In 2024, I'm going to list the prices as well. So I'm going to be able to go back and go, here, Shawnee, on, the 3rd of February, what bets won? And I'm going to be able to tell you, straight away. So we can look back very easy. Maybe we'll do a half-year show. We'll analyze all the winning bets, analyze the prices of those, and maybe see if we're hitting more bigger bets than smaller bets, and then maybe we can adjust from where we're going to go there. Now, if you listen to this betting show before, you probably know I'm not your normal, I'm going to put 2 units on this. I'm not a betting expert. I'm not anything like that. I try to give you winning bets. I try to give a bit of MMA insight. That's where my expertise, I suppose, of watching the sport for the last... how many years is it now? Nearly 20 years. God almighty. That's what I want to do. I want to have a bit of fun, and I want to, you throw a tenner on, and hopefully you might make a few quid at the end of the week. That's what this sort of show is. It's fun. I want to get the people involved. I want to throw people some love in the comments as well. If you have any bets for this year, throw in the comments here. But every week as well, I want to get comments in, and I want to make more of a thing of that and make the people more involved in it as well, because I've had a lot of good feedback, especially on the betting show over the last year and a half and so, and I think people appreciate too when you're not lying to them, when you're telling them the truth about the bets you're putting on and the bets you're getting out as well. And I think, like, to go 50%, a lot of people say go 50% with bets, probably not amazing, but I would say, and this is the reason why I kind of want to keep more a track of the prices and the winning prices. I would say out of those 90 bets, I'd say a good large percentage of them were plus money bets and good plus money bets. And for the 13 flyers, obviously all of them were, plus 350 and above. And there was one 7-1, and there's, some very, very big money bets there as well. So yeah, I'm happy with the way it went last year. I would actually be very, very skeptical that I can do as well with my picks for this year. I don't think I will. But that's the process of it too. We don't always pick them right. We can't always pick them right, but if we give someone a little bit of insight, even insight enough to say, right, Johnny, you're making the wrong pick there, I'm going to pick someone else, that can be useful too. So that's what we're going to do. 2024, new year, new betting set. We're starting from 0-0, and we're going to get some this year. Obviously, I'll have the other betting show. I'm recording this one a little bit earlier. I'll have the other betting show with some of the UFC or KSW or One or whatever's on this weekend. we'll have that. I will talk about that on this as well. So I'm going to start off the year with my 5 bets for the year, and we'll see where we go from there. As I said, all plus money bets for the year. That was my one rule. I want to start the year as I mean to go on. We're going plus money bets. We're not as concerned this year with the record. We're not as concerned this year at the record. That's why I want to make the price is a bigger thing. If I look at the end of 20 bets and only 5 of them are right, and it's plus 200, plus 250, plus 120, plus 500 or whatever like that, I'll be happy. I'll be happier with that than if I hit a lot of like minus 200 bets. So that is it. That is this year's show. We're going all out, balls out for the whole year, 2024. That's where the Sheehan Show betting show is going this year. No more bad bets, no more small bets. No more small money bets. No, we're not putting on big money, but we don't want any small money prices. So let's go and let's do it. Right. First bet of the year. It's a shocking one. Are you ready for it? Are you ready? Bet number 1. Ilia Topuria to beat Alexander Volkanovski plus 130. Now, the biggest worry for me in this is I actually, after all that, I don't think this price is high enough. I think he probably should be a little bit higher in terms of everything that has gone on, I suppose, over the last few years with Volkanovski and how good he has become as a fighter. Like, Volkanovski, in my opinion, is the closest fighter we've ever seen to Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson as being the best of all time. Now, people talk about the greatest of all time an awful lot, and that's a different discussion. We can talk about greatness in a complex sport like mixed martial arts in one discussion, and it's a very complex discussion. The best is a different discussion. Who is the best fighter? And there's no debate about that, in my opinion. It's Demetrius Johnson. But Volkanovski was the first one I ever thought came close to him. Now, the thing about Volkanovski, and you're probably saying to yourself, right, Johnny, you said that. Why are you picking Topuria to beat him? Well, there's there's a few reasons. One, Topuria is very, very, very good. I think sometimes we look at a champion, and this is not Volkanovski, but this is anyone, and we fail to see that someone's coming. McGregor was coming for Aldo. Weidman was coming for Anderson Silva. You could say Johnny Hendricks is coming for GSP. That didn't really happen. But, John Jones was coming for whoever was there at the time. And all, it happens. It just happens. People think now at the moment Aspinall is coming and he is the guy. We'll see if that's, remains to be true or not. It's happened down through the years. And not just mixed martial arts, but boxing and other sports as well, I am sure. Ilia Topuria is that guy. Is he good enough to go out and beat Volkanovski? We'll see, but he is that guy. He is the best guy in the world on the way up. The problem is he is in a division with, Max Holloway, who's one of the best guys in the world as well, and Volkanovski, as I said, the best fighter in the world at the moment. If we're to go pound for pound, I think Makhachev has done enough to earn that now, no doubt about it, winning both of those fights, but we're talking about pound for pound again, but I think the way he knocked him out last time, absolutely. But Topuria is coming, and he is a threat to those guys. Now, as I said, at the time, and I will give more of maybe a technical breakdown and all that, but this is more like the feel. This is the feeling for the year. This is the New Year thoughts. Right. The second and third points maybe here. Volkanovski. He's taken this fight. So Volkanovski got knocked out. Let's look it up here and see exactly when it was. But it wasn't that long ago when Volkanovski actually got knocked out, right? And I always wonder when a guy like Volkanovski talks the way he talked, and that's maybe the next part of it. It was October of last year, so it's still, and this fight is happening in, let me just check here, January, so we're not too far away from it. It's only next week. I really think that, and we might have this bet twice this week now thinking about it, I really think that a guy like Volkanovski needed to take a little bit of a longer time out. But the problem with that is, what he said before, that he, mentally struggles if he's out for too long. It doesn't help him. His mind wanders if he's out for too long, and he has big, big issues. So he's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. You just wonder at times if that's going to catch up on him. You saw Israel Adesanya last year, and he was a guy who wanted to fight over and over and over again. You're thinking, okay, this is great. Him fighting over and over again is really working for him, until it didn't. And I feel like that's always the case for these guys. You know, there's certain things in sports, and sometimes we fail to realize why they're special, right? And let's stick to MMA for a second. GSP's run, Anderson Silva's run, you know, runs like that. Those two especially. We often, you know, Adesanya with him, best middleweight of all time, he's getting there. Usman, the best middleweight of all time, he's getting there. But welterweight, sorry. But they didn't get there, right? They didn't. Both of them, you know, Adesanya less so, but Usman definitely was like maybe 2 to 3 fights away from being, you know, an insane thing to say, but being in the conversation to being a better welterweight than GSP. Crazy, right? Crazy. But he didn't get there. He lost to Leon Edwards, and he lost to him again, right? So the point here is, it's special because it happens. And sometimes we say it's going to happen before it actually does happen. It's almost, maybe I'm guilty of it with Volkanovski saying, oh, he's going to, you know, he's there near Mighty Mouse. He lost twice. And that's why he's not as good as Mighty Mouse. And that's why that's why Mighty Mouse is special. That's why GSP is special. That's why Anderson Silva is special. For those insane runs that they went on. Right? So, with that said, can it keep going? Now, for Volkanovski, it's an odd one because he's lost twice in a row, right? So you could already say, look, it's already stopped. You know, maybe he's getting back on the trails here, back on the rails even here. And honestly, I don't know, but I'm not making a big assumption based on that. I'm not making my pick based on that. What I'm doing here is making a question based on that. Like, could you say that there's a question mark over whether Volkanovski is as good now as he ever was, based on everything I just said? I think, even if you think Volkanovski is going to knock out Topuria in the first round, right? Even if you think Topuria has no chance of winning, he's not the guy Volkanovski's going to win. I think you couldn't disagree with me in saying that there is a question about Volkanovski right now. You know, maybe your opinion is Topuria is not good enough to answer that question, you know, or to expose maybe the questioning, maybe. But I think there definitely is a question about Volkanovski. Now, when I see that, and when I say what I said earlier on about me thinking that Topuria is that guy, I get alarm bells. I think, am I going to be the guy who just picks Volkanovski because I really like Volkanovski and I think he's the best in the world? Or am I going to be the guy who analyzes the situation and picks via the data? Like, via what is shown. Like, you analyze the situation, you think, okay, Topuria is the coming guy, young, hungry, brilliant. Volkanovski, brilliant fighter, but he's lost 2 fights in a row. He's talking like he's crying in press conferences saying he can't cope mentally in preparation. Like, and I don't like saying that. That's a very harsh thing for me to fucking sit here and say, but that's a fact. When you're looking at betting on someone, you're thinking, right, one guy is kind of, it's all pluses, and with the other guy, even though he's so good, it's minus at the moment for Volkanovski. Now, is Volkanovski good enough to overcome all of that? By God, he might be. And if he does, I think this is one of his greatest victories. But I'm being harsh. I'm being ruthless. I'm being the betting man. And I'm going for Ilia Topuria to win this fight at that beautiful price of, let me get it again, plus 130. Okay, as I said, it could be a little bit bigger. I think we would all like it to be a little bit bigger, but that's the price we've been given, and that's the price we shall take. Is this January? Is that January 20th? Is that the correct time it's on? We'll look. Do you know what? We'll see very, very shortly anyway. Right. No, it's February 18th. It tells me here on Best Fight Odds. Someone's lying to me. Hold on. Do you know what we'll do now? Do you know what we'll do? The best thing we could do now is go to Sherdog.com, and that'll tell us better than anywhere else. Do you know what? I could have had this open. If I was a bit more of a professional, I would have had this open. He is fighting February 17th. Yes, February. It would be 18th for me here in Ireland, February 17th, obviously in America. So we have another bit of time for that one to happen. Right, bet number 2 for today. This is a fight that I am very, very interested in seeing on Feral, I suppose. I and the person I'm going for here is Amir Albazi in his fight with Brandon Moreno. I think it's again, it's a very similar fight to the one I just spoke about with the ex-champion. Well, sorry. How would you put it? The fallen champion, I suppose. He's not the ex-champion, Volkanovski. Moreno is the ex-champion, but he lost. You know, we know why. Coming back with something to prove against like the really good up-and-coming guy. Now, I don't know if I said it or not, plus 190 for Albazi. There is... so I was doing my analysis for the first UFC card of the year. And I was looking for some of the best kind of up-and-coming fights this year and things like that. And I saw this one. And I just, even though I was busy analysing another card, I said, you know what? Let's have a look at a bit of Albazi here. Let's have a look at a bit of Moreno. And we'll obviously, when this fight comes closer, this is on the 24th of February. When this one comes closer, we'll talk a little bit more about it as well in greater detail. But the technical point of it, I just feel like the control that Albazi can gather in fights might be very, very useful against Moreno. I think, he is, for a 125 pounder, you're not going to be that big and that strong. In fact, he's not as tall as Moreno, but I think he is a big, strong 125er. And I think if he can get that control away from Moreno and win that battle initially, I think it's one of those fights that could very, very quickly turn into like a mental check for Moreno. I think Moreno's had gut checks throughout his career and passed every single one of them. But a fight like this where you have been fighting in nothing but title fights for the last while, you need to win this one to get back into that conversation. And you're almost like, all right, I'm just going to get over this one and then fight for the title. Whereas you're coming in there against a guy who's fighting a former champion for the first time. He is hell for leather going to need to win this fight. And if he does, he'll be probably fighting for a title. That is very, 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 very tough for Moreno and a very, very different mindset for both of those fighters. And I think, like, I've always been the one down through the years who said, like, people talk about trash talk and they talk about, how well it works and how well it doesn't work. I actually think things like this are way more important. The mindset, like the talk you give to yourself and your own brain is way more important than actually, like, some people now can put something into your brain, absolutely, but I just think that mindset might be the winning and losing of this fight, because Albazi, in my opinion, has the ability to have a 3-minute period at the start of the fight where he gets something big and can turn that mindset against someone like Moreno. And Moreno, like this kind of happy-go-lucky guy, if that's kind of taken away from him, if the flowy kind of fighting ability is taken away from him, it's going to be very tough for him to retrieve that. So that's why I'm going for Albazi as bet number 2. Bet number 3, MVP plus 125 versus Kevin Holland. I love this bet. From the second I saw that fight, I've loved MVP. I saw him doing an interview the other day, I think with my guy Mike Bond, and he basically said like that, who did Kevin Holland fight? And he said, we're just going to have a stand-up matchup here. Was it Wonderboy? And MVP reckons he won't do the same against him, and I think he's probably right. Although you never know with Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland is the type of guy who will just go out there and and have some fun and have a fight. MVP though, like I've been a long time believer of MVP, as everyone knows. He's where is it? It's on one of my walls here somewhere. A poster of him. I love that style of fighter. I love the Wonder Boys, the Anderson Silvas. That's type of fighter. And he's a thing about MVP is I've interviewed him a few times. He's a really, really nice guy. Sometimes as well, and that's nothing to do with my bet, but sometimes as well people don't realize that a guy like that, like I'll tell you a small story here about MVP. Let's do it. I was at a Bellator press conference once, and they did this thing where they had, you know, the blue corner out for interviews, the red corner out for interviews, and then they had like a press conference announcing, you know, the next card or something like that, and they had like 5 people lined up. So that was grand. We did them all, and we did the blue corner and the red corner, and MVP was the last guy. I was getting to the red corner, went over just about to interview him, was lining up, and then they started doing the next press conference, and they were taking them all away, and I was like, oh, you know, it's grand, I'll catch you again or whatever, and he was like, oh, sorry about that, and that was fine. So that was grand. We did the press conference, asked a few questions, and then I turned around, and who's standing behind me with MVP? And I was like, oh, hi. And he's like, let's do that interview now. He waited. He just stood around in the background for like 40 minutes to do an interview with me to, you know, because I had kind of waited for him, and I was the next on the line, and I didn't end up getting it. And he just stayed around for no reason to do the interview with me, and then just like left after that. That's the sort of thing you don't hear about people. And I've always like looked at MVP in a different light after. Like, some people look at him and they think, oh, maybe he's cocky, or he's, you know, he's whatever. But he's not. Like, he's a really, really kind of nice guy. And I've been around him a good few times now. You know, talked to him after Norbert Navini fights, and like he always has a good insight, and he's a really smart guy. And he's an underrated fighter as well, as we get back to the Bellator. Like, he really, really is. I don't think people give MVP credit for like his ability to actually look. Everyone gives him credit for his striking ability. Maybe not enough. Maybe they say, you know, whatever, this style is not going to work or whatever. Everyone knows he's a good striker. But like, his ability to actually like circle around people, which is often a big problem for strikers like them. We see it with Wonderboy more so these days than not. You know, his ability to circle around, his ability to get away is just not working. Like, MVP's ability to get away, and then his ability to actually strike with those big fucking, you know, looping strikes, and usually like looping from low rather than looping from high, as you see with more people. He's like unbelievably good. Like the Douglas Lima knockout, which people always point to, he got knocked out from a position where he was trying to like pull away and get out from from a takedown or from a grappling, the grappling realm. Let's put it that way. And he got caught. Like he just got caught. The Logan Storley fight, he won that fight. I don't care what anyone says. That was a terrible judging. Terrible judging in that one. And like, he's knocked everyone else out basically. So I think MVP is massively underrated. I think he's a way better fighter than Kevin Holland. I think he's going to piece him up. I think he's going to knock him out. And I think MVP is going to fight for the title next year maybe. So plus 125 MVP, Michael Venom Page. The next fight. Next bet. This is the opposite of the first 2 bets. I went for the 2 young lads. Actually, the first 3 bets, 3 newcomers. MVP, not so much a newcomer. You know, he's a older guy, just been in Bellator for a long time. But the 4th bet, I am going with the old dog for the hard road, and I'm going for Dustin Poirier at plus 124. The audacity of the bookmakers, now it might have changed by the time this comes out, to make Dustin Poirier the underdog against Benoit Saint-Denis. No, I take nothing away from Saint-Denis, right? He is a good fighter, a very good fighter. He might be the future of the division. He might be a future champion. He's that good. He's a very, very, very good fighter. Again, we'll talk more about the tactical and technical aspects of this the closer the fight gets. But let's not forget Dustin Poirier. Okay, he went in there against Gaethje and he didn't have his best night, right? Absolutely. And, you know, he's lost some fights down through the years. But Dustin Poirier has been one of the best fighters in the UFC over the last 10 years. There's no shred of doubt about that. It just so happens he was in a division with Habib, with Islam, with some of the best in the world. But he is also one of the best in the world. And the improvements that man has made over those, 6-7 years, whatever, I'm not ready to write him off yet. I'm not ready to write him off based on one bad performance. Like, was he injured coming into that? Was it just Gaethje on that night a bad matchup? Gaethje's a very, very good fighter. Losing to Gaethje, there's no shame in that whatsoever. I'm not ready to write him off against an up-and-coming guy just yet. And this is a respect pick. And also, plus 124, you give me plus money in a fight like that against the guy as good as Poirier, who is fighting a guy who is, he's unproven, Benoit Saint-Denis. It doesn't mean he will not prove himself. It doesn't mean he will never be proven. But at the moment, could you say Benoit Saint-Denis is the finished article? He's absolutely, he's the best fighter in the world without a shadow of a doubt. You couldn't say that. Maybe your opinion is he is that and he will become that. But we're not there yet, So I'm, gut pick, respect pick, Dustin Poirier pick. There you go. That's bet number 4. And bet number 5, I might get killed for this one. I might be able to leave my home. I might have to leave the country maybe, actually, opposing that. I'm going for Michael Chandler at plus 100 to win his fight against Conor McGregor. Now, look, I've been relatively vocal on this, talked on multiple podcasts that I think Chandler will win the fight, and I think it'll be very hard for McGregor to get back into a winning shape shape's not the right word. I think he'll get into an unbelievable shape in terms of his fitness and all of that. I think fighting shape, match fitness as they call it in soccer over here. I think it's just impossible. I just think he cannot do it. If they put him in here against Ferguson, do I think he could win? Yes. If they didn't put him in there against Paddy Pimblett, maybe, do I think he could win? Yes. And if they put him in there against Michael Chandler after winning those 2 fights, I'd be picking Conor McGregor all day, every day. I think McGregor at his peak, way better fighter than Chandler. No doubt about it. If you were to give me the best McGregor against the best Chandler, McGregor wins that fight. Probably 19 times out of 20, in my opinion. But there's no way Conor McGregor can be at his best. There's just simply no way he can do it. We're 6 months out from the fight now. This is a massive 6-month period for McGregor. How he prepares, where he prepares, who he prepares with, keeping free of injuries. This whole 185 thing as well, bizarre. I think for McGregor, who has a long list of injuries that he's carried over the years, from the ACL to the foot to the hand to the broken ankle / leg over the last while, to the cardio issues when he moved up in weight classes before, to add on to the injuries. Will he even make the fight having to carry that much weight? And now he's probably walking around at that weight anyway, but it's a little bit different, I'm sure, when you're getting down to that and everything. I think it's all pointing against it. Now, will that be good for Chandler? Maybe not, but I don't think it'll be as serious for him, to be honest. That's just another part. I don't think, if they both get to the fight uninjured, I don't think it'll make much of a difference. I think, it'll probably actually suit McGregor. I think it will suit McGregor. But will the effect, the plus points for McGregor already be gone by the time the fight comes, is my big question. And I think they probably will. Look, what I foresee in this fight is McGregor coming out looking sharp early. And Chandler, like Poirier a little bit, just in that middle fight that they had, avoiding it, pushing him against the cage, trying to tire him out a little bit. McGregor's going to get in a few of his shots, but if you stay safe for a while, you get into the late part of the first round, early part of the second round, mid part of the second round, and you're still there, you start to push the pace, you start to land a few shots. I think that's where you beat McGregor. That's always been the game plan for McGregor, but more so now when he is being out. That broken leg as well, let's not forget about that. Coming back from that broken leg is not easy. Like, Chandler has very good wrestling, although he doesn't use it enough. He hits very hard. He's not the best striker, the most technical striker in the world, but if he hits you, you'll stay hit. There's no doubt about that. Like, the thing here is, right, is Michael Chandler good enough to, I suppose, expose the limitations of McGregor in 2024? And I think the answer is yes. And that's why I'm picking him at plus 100. I think he'll win the fight probably in the second round. The closer we get, maybe we'll have a flyer on that. But I find it very, very hard to see Conor McGregor winning this fight. As much as it might get me killed around Ireland, that's just what I believe. And I think plus 100 is probably the best of all these prices, to be honest. I think I find it very hard to see any way to pick McGregor in that fight. So plus 100 for Michael Chandler is my 5th bet for the year. All right, everyone, let's just quickly recap them. Topuria, plus 130, bet 1. Bet 2, Albazi, plus 190. Plus 125 for MVP. plus 124 for Dustin Poirier, and plus 100 for the former Bellator champion, Iron Mike Chandler. All right, everyone, I will leave it there. Thank you very much for tuning in. Shout out to all the folks over on Sherdog, and shout out to all the folks who have subscribed as well to the YouTube here and the Spotify and the SoundCloud and all of that. You're absolutely brilliant. And if you haven't yet, please give it a thumbs up. Smash the like button, as they say. I don't know. Does that work? Probably not, but hit the like button anyway. Let me know your one bet for the year in the comment section below, and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell as well. So when these videos come out, you will get them straight into your inbox. All right, we leave it there. My name is Sheehan for Sherdog.com, and I'll see you all next time.